part of this is a backlash to how badly Biden handled the immigration situation. It can't just be like come one, come all, which
Dude,
it was.
There's plenty of room here, and we need
room.
There's plenty of room in America. Come on, there's not a lack of room in America.
But it's never about room. It's about resources and about like having countries have to have a border. It just can't be. I mean, they've done surveys and something like 200 million people around the world, when asked, would you come to America if you could? Yes, I would. Why wouldn't they? Lots of countries, excuse me, are shitholes.
Right.
And they would love to be here. You can't
I mean,
just
no,
let
I'm not right. No, right. The places aren't shitholes, but...
Well, they are.
The greatest shortcoming of the human race is our inability to understand the exponential function. So you say, well, what's the exponential function? This is a mathematical function that you would write down if you're going to describe the size of anything that was growing steadily. If you had something growing 5% per year, you'd write the exponential function to show how large that growing quantity was year after year. Now there's another beautiful consequence of this arithmetic. If you take 70 years as a period of time, and note that that's roughly one human lifetime, then any percent growth continued steadily for 70 years gives you an overall increase by a factor that's very easy to calculate. For example, 4% per year, you find the factor by multiplying 4 2's together. It's a factor of 16. Now, a few years ago, one of the newspapers here in Boulder quizzed the 9 members of the Boulder City Council and asked them, what rate of growth of Boulder's population do you think it would be good to have in the coming years? Now, the 9 members of the Boulder City Council gave answers ranging from a low of 1% per year. Now, that happens to match the present rate of growth of the population of the United States. We are not at zero population growth. Right now, the number of Americans is increasing by more than 3 million people every year. No member of the City Council said Boulder should grow less rapidly than the United States is growing. Now, the highest answer any council member gave was 5% per year. Well, you know, I felt compelled. I had to write them a letter and say, did you know that 5% growth for just 70, I can remember when 70 years used to seem like an awful long time. It doesn't seem so long now. Well, that means Boulder's population would increase by a factor of 32. That is where today we have one overloaded sewer treatment plant. In 70 years, we need 32 overloaded sewer treatment plants. Now, did you realize that anything as completely all-American as 5% growth per year could give such an incredible consequence in such a modest period of time? Our city council people had zero understanding of this very simple arithmetic. Here's a graph of Boulder's population. There's the 1950 U.S. Census figure, 1960, 1970. In that 20-year period, the average growth rate of Boulder's population was about 6% per year. Now, we've been able to slow the growth somewhat. There's the 2000 census figure. Well, I like to ask the people, let's start with the 2000 census figure, go another 70 years, one more human lifetime, and ask, what rate of growth of Boulder's population would we need in that 70 years so that at the end of 70 years, Boulder's population would equal today's population of your choice of major American cities? Well, Boulder in 70 years could be as big as Boston is today if we just grew 2.58% per year. Now, if we thought Detroit was a better model, we'll have to shoot for 3.27% per year. And remember the historic figure on the preceding slide, 6% per year. If that could continue for one lifetime, Boulder would be larger than Los Angeles. Now, this isn't Boulder plus Broomfield, Louisville, Lafayette, the other towns in the county. This is just Boulder. Well, it's obvious you couldn't put Los Angeles in the Boulder Valley. Therefore, it's obvious Boulder's population growth is going to stop. Now, the only question is, will we be able to stop it while there's still some open space, or will we wait until it's wall-to-wall people and we're all choking to death?
Which
Dude,
it was.
There's plenty of room here, and we need
room.
There's plenty of room in America. Come on, there's not a lack of room in America.
But it's never about room. It's about resources